What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video guys, I don't have a lot of news, but this news that I have is quite interesting, I have to admit. First of all, I will show you an update that some community members are still trying to accuse other community members of inaction. Then I will continue with the mess that is happening right now on the NextBridge hydrocarbon site in regards to their physical address. On top of that, guys, I will show you quite interesting update and another path to the solution that might happen through the blockchain and through the crypto industry. On top of that, I will show you a comeback of another community member that was extremely active about a year ago, and he made a lot of connections with Congress. And at the end of this video, I will share my personal story. That is why, guys, please watch this video till the very end, because it is very important for me personally. And before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. So let's start with this news. Scott didn't post any information in regards to his lawsuit, but instead of this he reposted several tweets that are quite, but not important and not interesting, but they are quite amusing, I would say. One of the community members, and you know that Due Diligence is quite old member of MMTLP community, but he is accusing other community members of inaction. And guys, I have to admit that his point of view is quite interesting. He tried to push all the legal cases down, but he tried to promote his narrative to solve this problem through the Congress people. And for now, guys, I have to admit that he didn't do anything. He didn't achieve any results, but at the same time, he's trying to blame MMTLP community of inaction. And I don't like this type of news. I don't like this type of behavior, but I have to show it to you in order to prevent this type of people to act like Due Diligence. So let's switch to the real news. First of all, I want to pay attention to the Daniel's tweet, and you know that he published, and I covered it in my previous video and the video before my previous video. He published a letter that was addressed to board of directors of NextBridge Hydrocarbons in general and to Greg McCabe in particular. And he asks several quite tricky and important questions in regards to the case, to the MMTLP and NextBridge Hydrocarbon case. And unfortunately, he didn't receive any answers from board of directors and from Greg himself. And he set a new deadline, and this deadline is set for the end of this month, and we have a little bit less than 1 week till it happen. And I have to admit that right after that, if Greg will not answer, and if we don't have any substantial updates from NextBridge Hydrocarbons site, in this case he will be forced to act in the legal field, and probably he will file another lawsuit. And guys, you have to keep in mind that your favorite SGM, his real name is Daniel, he's a veteran, but I want to show you this tweet, wait a second. He wrote, technically I'm not a veteran as I'm active duty. And guys, he's an active duty, and that is why statute of limitation cannot be used in this case, because active duty members have a right to toll the statute of limitations for the time of their deployment. And that leads us to the conclusion that for now we have at least a couple of dozens months more till this statute of limitations, at least in his personal case. And guys, the main problem for now for Daniel is to send the physical letter to NextBridge Hydrocarbons, and we have some confusing information. So 16 hours ago he wrote this, adding these notes to the thread. 8K on February the 8th of 2024 says Midland, Texas, and the 10Q on September the 30th, 2024 says Fort Worth, Texas. It's confusing at best, this typo or gaffe. Which is it? And guys, it is definitely confusing when you can see two addresses for one company, and to be honest, none of these addresses have a physical office in there, and that is why Daniel cannot send the official letter, physical letter to the company, and that is why it might be quite tricky to fix the date of the delivery of this letter. That might be important in the upcoming lawsuit. But guys, believe me, it is just a minor problem on the path to the resolution, and I believe Daniel will solve it within a blink of an eye. So, on top of that, I want to pay attention to the space call that was hosted by Roman Soups. Yes, Roman Soups hosted this space where he explains some details in regards to this letter. And as you can see, he invited Daniel to this space call. And I have to admit that I didn't have enough time to listen to this podcast, but definitely it might worth your attention if you want to know more from the first point of view, from Daniel himself. So let me show you another update, and this time it is George Paliker's update in regards to his investigation. And for now, guys, we have several questions to James J. Angel. If you don't know who this person is, in a minute I will explain you, but let me quote you this. So first of all, I covered in my previous video that George Paliker explained 12 ways how fractional shares have been used by hedge funds to manipulate the stock market, and he asked for some add-ons. The add-on was made by 100 MPH, and guys, I don't want to dig deeper inside this response, but I want to show you the George Paliker's response. He wrote, "This is valuable information. Diving deeper into the world of high-frequency trading, the case of quote stuffing unveils more than just rapid trades. It reveals the potential for significant market manipulation by entities with access to high-end tech. Technological leverage. Broker-dealer operators like Apex, Insistent, Virtu, etc., armed with the advanced trading technologies, can manipulate systems to create pre-borrow conditions without locates. This enables them to sell shares they don't own, distorting supply and demand dynamics even before legitimate buyers can react. Regulatory gap. The lack of locates for fractionalized shares opens significant regulatory loopholes, so hedge funds can exploit these fractional shares with little to no oversight, a big contrast to the strict regulations applied to whole shares. And guys, this trick is widely used by hedge funds, and we know that a lot of so-called gray activity happens on the areas that doesn't have enough oversight from authorities. So let me quote you further. Tracking and transparency issues. While sophisticated tracking technologies like fixed tagging and CATS M209 records exist, their potential misuse could prioritize speed and volume over accuracy and fairness. This manipulation could significantly skew market data, misleading investors and traders alike. This capability to manipulate high-frequency trades, especially at such granular levels and speeds, poses a critical risk to market integrity. It would appear that we need some decisive action here as soon as possible. In the meantime, it would be nice to hear from Professor James Angel on this matter, especially if he has a different opinion on this topic. And guys, if you don't know who this person is, I have to admit that he was a so-called helper for the MMTLP community, and he tried to explain the MMTLP saga to the Congress, and it happened basically more than a year and a half ago. He made a presentation, and I have to admit that this presentation had a lot of mistakes in it, and I covered this presentation more than a year ago, where I explained all the problems of this presentation. And I have to admit that Professor James J. Angel he pretended that he was an MMTLP shareholder, But guys, he had just a couple of shares, and he bought it, as far as I know, from the personal transfer right after the U3 halt, and that is how he pretended to be an MMTLP shareholder, and he could speak from the MMTLP community in front of the Congress. But we have to realize that he is not a part of MMTLP community, and potentially he is the person who tried to push our case down, and we have several evidence of this. So let me quote you further. Also, I was wondering of possible conflicts of interest. So, if you don't mind, please provide us with some additional insights. And these questions addressed to Professor James J. Angel. And here is the first one. What's the original motivation to develop your patented application, and who sponsored the research that led to this patent? And Professor James Angel has a patent for payments for order flow. This system that works perfectly well for the hedge funds, and that doesn't give any chance for retail investors to benefit out of the stock market at all. Number two, do any broker-dealers or financial institutions sponsor your research at Georgetown, whether by way or a gift process or via directed research topic funding? Number three, would you mind sharing a list of organizations who have licensed your technology, and have you received royalties from them? I appreciate your time and response. I'm sure we can get all this information directly from Georgetown or your former students and colleagues if you are too busy. People need to understand if you are part of the problem or the solution. And guys, these questions are quite interesting, and I have to admit that I'm pretty sure that James Angel will not answer, and he will stay quiet, because guys, he has a lot of information to hide, because let me show you, for example, this one. Whiskier, in response to the tweet of George Polikars, wrote this: "This should be a top priority for your committees. Your constituents would like to know these services that were rendered to the US government for these payments to the James Angel Child recipient. Was there a public report published?" And here's two screenshots of the payments that was made to James J. Angel. One of them was for $1.1 million, and the second one was just definitely quote unquote, just $618,500. And guys, we asked him these questions about the money that he received, and potentially it was the money for the presentation that I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, but he didn't answer, and that is why it is another gray area that need to be investigated. So let me show you quite interesting update from Don Fees. And for those of you who don't know, Don was extremely active community member about a year ago, and he made a lot of personal meetings with Congress members, and he tried to push our case forward on the Capitol Hill. And he basically he was doing this for, I guess, in total for about a month. And guys, he made a lot of meetings, and unfortunately his efforts was also pushed down because of some actions that happened at the very beginning of this year. And since then, he became extremely quiet on the public spaces and on Twitter as well. But for now, guys, I think he is starting to ramping up his efforts to help MMTLP community. And I have to admit that the most recent tweet that was reposted by him was originally made by MMTLP doc, and it says, and by the way, it was written just 8 hours ago: "Set a reminder for my upcoming space." And here is the topic of the space: the Dawn and the Doc. And it will happen tomorrow at 12:30 a.m. And guys, this is the Central European time. Don't be confused. You will see your local time on this reminder. And I have to say that yes, Don Fees might be quite interesting person for the community, because he knows a lot of Congress members in person, and he has a lot of connections with them, and that is why This is the way how he can help us to see the resolution. On top of that, 13 hours ago, he added this tweet. I remember a time when I actually look forward to looking at my Twitter feed and spaces were confronting. I guess everything has a shelf life. And guys, yes, I think time has passed, and he was trying to be as useful as he can to help the MMTLP community, but for now I think something has changed, and that is why, guys, I think this space call might be quite interesting in order to know the latest information from Don himself. So, and let me show you another quite interesting and potentially important update that might help us to see the resolution. X-Market News wrote this tweet. Justin, Patrick Byrne gives input on the MMTLP issue, and he gave an interview to Kevin Malone. And Patrick said, a brave CEO can go to T0, issue blockchain, raise capital and buy into the common. Eventually you can flush out the naked shorts. And guys, on the one hand, it is a very interesting statement, and it is this path potentially might work, but at the same time, guys, the main issue for this type of resolution is following. The capital rise might happen for something. I mean, if you use a blockchain to count all the shares and you want to raise a capital, you have to dilute the shareholders, or you have to raise this capital from the blockchain members, with the promises that you will give them something in exchange for this money. And definitely it might be a gray area for the SEC, and the SEC at this very moment might be the main brick wall that will prevent this from happening. And I have to admit that in general, without the additional capital inflow, this path might work, and definitely it is worth our attention to see how it might happen. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get